New Year and welcome to the Kyle Olson Show. I was on the Ben Ferguson podcast this week to talk about the big stories of 2020. Obviously, they were the election and the coronavirus. More specifically, the scandals they were. There was another scandal, perhaps the biggest of them all, and it affected one of them in a very big way. That is the media's unwillingness to cover what was right in front of their eyes. Joe Biden's health and his son's business dealings with our enemies. Before we get into that, let's go back to October 2019. Here's President Trump during a speech in Pittsburgh.
New Mexico, which I think we're going to win. You know why we're going to win New Mexico? Because they want safety on their border. And they didn't have it. And we're building a wall on the border of New Mexico. And we're building a wall in Colorado. We're building a beautiful wall, a big one that really works, that you can't get over, you can't get under. And we're building a wall in Texas. And we're not building a wall in Kansas, but they get the benefit of the walls that we just mentioned.
He said, we're building a wall in Colorado. He read that from his speech. Maybe somebody meant California. I don't know. He later said he was kidding. But the media was all over it. The New York Times, the Washington Post, the Associated Press, they all covered it. It was international news. The BBC, The Guardian, they covered it. Snopes, which regularly runs cover for the Democrats, they reviewed his statement and took it literally, which they never do for the Democrats. They always hedge, reframe, dispute. Well, that's not what Nancy Pelosi really meant. So here's Joe Biden on Tuesday.
I took it to instill public confidence in the vaccine. President-elect Harris took hers today for the same reason.
President-elect Harris, he read that, by the way. Did he misread it? Did an aide pull a fast one on him? Did he slip and say what everyone suspects? I don't know. But is there any coverage of that? You know the answer. It's the latest in a long line of Biden blunders. Here's Joe Biden in September.
Harris-Biden administration is going to relaunch that effort and keep pushing further to make it.
The guy himself is saying Harris-Biden administration. Here she is in September.
We need to make sure you have a president in the White House who actually sees you, who understands your needs, who understands the dignity of your work, and who has your back. A Harris administration together with Joe Biden as the President of the United States, the Biden-Harris administration will have access, provide access.
President Trump had a gaffe, which he tried to laugh off as a joke, and the global media pounced. Joe Biden has blunder after blunder.
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure.
And there's not a word. If you ask, what's wrong with Joe Biden? Is a 78-year-old guy with a history of aneurysms in 1988, 32 years ago, is he really fit to be president? And is he ever even going to be president? In a bit, I'm talking to Congresswoman-elect Marjorie Taylor Greene about what she and her new colleagues have in store next week, and we'll see. Here's a story from my Breitbart News colleague Josh Kaplan. Over 1 billion of the 52 billion masks produced in 2020 will pollute the world's oceans, warns a report published by an environmental group out of Hong Kong. Oceans Asia said the masks will both contaminate oceans with plastic and harm already vulnerable marine wildlife. This is from the Oceans Asia report. Quote, single-use face masks are made from a variety of melt-blown plastics and are difficult to recycle due to both composition and risk of contamination and infection. These masks enter our oceans when they are littered or otherwise improperly discarded, when waste management systems are inadequate or non-existent, or when these systems become overwhelmed due to increased volumes of waste. Greta Thunberg, where are you? Or are you still lecturing the adults at the UN? The report estimates nearly 7,000 tons of plastic could pollute the ocean and take roughly 450 years to break down. How they figure that, I don't know. But here's more from the report. Quote, this plastic does not go away, but rather accumulates, breaking up into smaller and smaller pieces. Annually, it is estimated that marine plastic pollution kills 100,000 marine mammals and turtles, over 1 million seabirds, and even greater numbers of fish, invertebrates, and other marine life. And get this, plastic pollution also profoundly impacts coastal communities, fisheries, and economies. Conservative estimates suggest that it could cost the global economy $13 billion per year and lead to a 1.5% decline in ecosystem services at a value of between $500 billion and $2.5 trillion US dollars per year. Oceans Asia suggested people wear reusable cloth masks. I was in the hospital the other day. You couldn't wear a cloth mask. You had to have a surgical one because the cloth masks don't work. Is there any science to any of this crap going on? Speaking of not being rooted in science or reality, a University of Michigan Words Matter Task Force, yes, that's what it was really called, Words Matter Task Force, issued a list of terms and phrases it said needed to be banned from the university lexicon. The task force said the words, quote, may hinder effective communication, harm morale, and deliberately or inadvertently exclude people from feeling accepted to foment a healthy and inclusive culture. The list, it said, are terms that, quote, can be construed to be racist, sexist, or non-inclusive. The university identified 28 offending words and phrases, including men or man as a prefix or suffix. The alternative term recommended by the university group is people or person, such as changing man hours to person hours. The task force zeroed in on several other gender-based words and phrases and proposed alternatives. For example, gender-neutral he or she should be gender-neutral they. Can't say grandfathered anymore. It's now legacy status. Girl or gal, boy or guy, should be person. Guys and gals, for example, saying, hey guys, you can't say that. You have to say, hey everyone, hey folks. Honey, sweetheart, or sweetie should be banned altogether, and you should just use the person's name. The task force objected to color-based sayings such as black list and white list. One recommended term change was allow list or deny list. It suggested changing black and white thinking to all or nothing thinking. Brown bag should be changed to lunch and learn. Picnic should be dropped in favor of gathering. The task force didn't identify why sitting in a park on a blanket eating a meal could be racist, sexist, or non-inclusive. The task force also focused on words and phrases it apparently found rooted in race and proposed alternative sayings. Long time no see to it's been a while, or I haven't seen you in ages. Low man on the totem pole should be swapped out for last in the pecking order or the bottom of the heap pecking order. That wouldn't that be discriminatory towards chickens? I don't know. You can't say master or slave anymore. You have to say leader or follower. Native is out. Build in or innate is in. Off the reservation to outside the norm. Sold down the river to betrayed. Straw man to proposed conceptual design. I didn't really understand that. But I'm not enlightened enough to be a part of the Words Matter Task Force at the University of Michigan. And doesn't all this seem English supremacist to you? I mean, who are these racists to say it's bad to say long time no see or low man on the totem pole? The group urged eliminating crazy and insane for outrageous, unthinkable, nonsensical, incomprehensible, ridiculous, egregious, or irrational. Dummy should be changed to placeholder or sample, the report said. The Words Matter Task Force said it would like its recommendations, quote, to be embedded into consistent professional development opportunities for all current and future staff. The group indicated its recommendations are not just intended to change the way the university communicates, but that it, quote, has the opportunity to influence change with vendors, suppliers, and associations. That's crazy. Oops, excuse me. Let me check. That's nonsensical. Well, it's crazy too. This is the Kyle Olson Show. When we come back, we head to Georgia. You don't want to miss it.